Dark Tourist Adventures presents. Well, hello, and welcome. To those of you who have subscribed to this channel and to those who visit us with some regularity, let me start by thanking you for your support. It is important to us and very much appreciated. By now, you have probably recognized the place where I am standing. Yes, it is the Showman-Edwards Cemetery. And if you have viewed the other two videos we have produced of this place, you will know that those visits, though later in the afternoon, became quite uncomfortable. Since I was in the area today, I thought I would stop by to pay my respects to those forgotten souls resting here. But that is not the reason why I have returned to Turkeyfoot. Now, having said that, allow me to take some time to elaborate as to why I am here. If you have recognized the cemetery, then it is obvious that you would recognize Precht Bridge. But as it is with the cemetery, neither is Precht Bridge my reason for being here. I had received a reliable tip about another find just northeast of the cemetery, and I have decided to act upon this new information and investigate it further. That's why we are here today. We're going to find out what's what. So here we are. The tip has paid off. We're just a short distance from the bridge, and the cemetery is just across the way, hidden behind all of the undergrowth. This looks to possibly be a cistern from which water can be drawn, but it seems a bit odd since there is a creek not much more than 100 yards away, if that. There I go seeing things again. Now that I have found this site, what I am going to do is walk further along the trail and look for other signs of possible residency. When I get back, I'll let you know what I've found. I have spent the last 2 hours walking through this half of the wildlife area, having started on the perimeter trail and after discovering a faint game trail ended up following that deeper through the interior of this land. I did not find any traces of other buildings or equipment, but what I did find was a number of larger areas that have been grown over with saplings, vines, and briars that 80 years or so ago could have been clear enough for tilling and farming. Now, let's focus on the dig. It has been offered by the tipster that this find may be a cellar. After having taken a look around and not finding an obvious foundation or anything that would immediately support the claim, I am not going to argue it. In fact, I do find enough to put an addendum to the first explanation. There are a number of squared stones sitting about, and some of those are stacked in an unnatural manner, enough to look like the beginning of a foundation. So I suggest that the original intent for the dig was to be a cellar, a root cellar if you will. The location of this site is almost in a direct line with the barn, which sits on the other side of the Turkeyfoot Creek. But in light of his unfortunate accident, Mr. Precht himself was unable to complete the building. Okay, now, this is just a little bit off topic. Even now, one thing that I have noticed on several occasions that I've been here, we're later in the afternoon, and I'm beginning to get that uncomfortable feeling again. As you have probably heard, should you be listening closely, or in this particular case, not heard, although this is a wildlife area, I have not seen any wildlife. I have seen a few tracks, but I have not seen the wildlife. And what makes it most eerie is with some of the history of this place, the Showman-Edwards Cemetery, and the death of Mr. Precht at the bridge, I have seldom heard even birds singing. There were a couple moments this afternoon where I could hear signs of life, but it just so eerily silent. It's like this aura that hangs over this whole area. Anyway, I don't know. This entire area is just beginning to get creepy again. The shadows are getting long. My mind is starting to play with me. I don't know. There are many questions that remain unanswered at this time concerning the residence, the cemetery, and all I can do is conjure up more questions and only offer further conjecture, which at this time I am not willing to offer. Thanks for watching.
Congratulations. I am impressed. You stayed around for the whole story. We'll see you again.